Yo, I'm Łukasz. 2 years ago, I couldn't write a single line of code, and now I work as a Gen AI engineer. Today, we'll look and answer the question if the new course for Andrew Inc. is the best course to start learning how to do agentic AI. So maybe the quick introduction, who is Andrew Inc.? Andrew Inc. is very famous author of multiple courses into machine learning specialization, deep learning specialization, and so on. He worked as the director of Stanford AI Lab. He's co-founder and chairman of CrewAI. He also worked with multiple clients in the industry, and he's now also founder of Deep Learning AI, so this full portal. So he's very well known. Why it's important? Well, if you take any course, it's good to listen from somebody who is really experienced, who is much smarter than you, and who basically spent so much time figuring all these things out that he can give you practical tips even for work. And I think, that's pretty much this type of person. So we can see that it's intermediate course. It's 5 hours, 54 minutes, 32 videos, 4 code examples, and so on. If you really push yourself, I think you can easily do it in one day. I think it's a bit more than this if you really check code and play with it. I do it myself in 2 days. So yeah. So now let's jump into the course structure. So here we have 4 design patterns that power Agentic AI system. And what is Agentic AI system? Because it's really a buzzword used a lot by marketing for literally everything. In standard AI, we do like one call with a prompt and we get one type of output. In Agentic AI, we basically do multiple calls and not always the same models and so on, because like we see here, we can use tools, we can plan something for basically generate customized commands for other model to follow or for the same model. We can reflect on it and so on, but reflection is basically putting our output as an input to new model call or whatever, and iterate a few times. So it's like a for loop, let's say, with API calls or model calls. Then we have also multi-agents, so different personalities of our AI to cooperate with each other. So I think that's the main differentiate, and also it will be explained in the beginning because many people have different opinions and so on and so on. And also one thing, if you are still not convinced that Andrew Inc. is like quite important in AI, you can check how to pronounce his surname and how many videos there are to pronounce his surname. So that will basically tell you why he's so important in the industry. Sorry for the lighting. I live in Belgium, so now it's pretty dark. So I needed to figure out some, let's say, improvised lighting. So in the course he emphasized these 4 design patterns, which is reflections. So AI critique its own work and then iterates, so loop basically to improve quality, like in code review. In tool use, we basically call multiple calls, retrieve something from database, web, and so on. We can do planning, so we break complex tasks for small executable steps that we can then throw to AI or to multiple AIs. And then we have multi-agents, so we have specialized AIs, API calls, local models that work with each other on some task. And also what is not mentioned here, we have model about practical tips for building agentic AI, which I will describe in a moment. But basically in each course, we have model with quizzes, with code examples. For example, in first one, in the next one, we have graded lab that should take you about an hour. We have also ungraded labs. So there is a lot of examples. And I think what is quite nice is that everything is basic Python with just one library that we use to standardize API calls, because different providers have different type of calls messages into set. This is also like designed by Andrew Inc., but like it's pretty standard. If you don't like it, you can just use OpenAI protocol, which is actually it's based on in majority, I guess, and make your calls. So jumping into the models, yeah, first we have general introduction and so on about the knowledge. And then we have the reflection part, design pattern. Then we have tool use. And then we have practical tips. And I think I would stop with practical tips because I really like it. Because like you can see that Andring is basically working with people on AI projects and so on. So he gave you very good tips how to evaluate, how to optimize latency. For example, if we have multiple agents with multiple steps, we should evaluate like each step, see which step take us most amount of time, and then actually the optimization of this step will give us biggest gain time-wise. Yeah. So that's very nice. And the labs are in Jupyter notebooks, which is super easy. You can download them, you can check all code, you can play with it. It's really quite extensive and so on. And why I wanted to make video about it, because I think many people want to learn agentic AI, but there is like so many frameworks. You have LangChain, LangGraph, CrewAI, some other AI, and so on company. So everybody wants to make framework, but sometimes when people make framework, they put too many wrappers and you don't have full control of what you do and so on. So like if you can train on, I don't know, a CrewAI, but then you go to Japan, you will need to use LangGraph or whatever, or Hugging Face small agents to create applications. So there is a lot of differentiate. There is also not standardized framework for production. Some providers want to be seen like it, like for example Haystack and so on, but there is no straight best choice for the AI model for the framework for agentic framework. So I think what's very good is to have like general good understanding. So basically, if you write all of these things in Python, you'll have pretty good understanding, and you have transferable skills that you can then use in different areas of your life. And if you then later work with, I know, Pydantic AI, then if you don't have something that you want to do, you can always write it yourself in Python or implement in the code or in the library and so on. Because yeah, as I said, sometimes the libraries are maybe not as efficient and so on. And if you write really simple functions, you'll get actually a lot of gains by the cost and so on. So yeah, and also what is good to touch is like, yeah, there are some quizzes, so you actually need to sometimes maybe go back to check something in the lab because you have 3 tries and so on. So it's quite good. Yeah, the assignments, you can download all of them and then play with them, create your own agent in any framework you want, or write it yourself. You can, I don't know, use even ANN and so on to just make simple thing. So I think it's pretty good. And even though it's intermediate, I think the code is like quite easy to understand. You can also ask ChatGPT or whatever, but I think his explanations are like really on point. I didn't need to check anything. He's very good tutor and so on. So I will summarize maybe the pros that I saw there. So basically we use Python for agent creation, as I said, which is super transferable. We have excellent explanation of techniques like reflection and so on. So it's super easy to follow, in my opinion. He emphasizes evals, and he gives you many tips from that I could tell you that are like from practical and so on usage of AI. So this could be very useful for most people, because I'm sure you don't know everything. And even if you know, then it's good to maybe sometimes remind yourself of some other approaches and so on. So yeah, you can tweak the code in Jupyter Labs, you can change prompts and play with it. So I don't know actually how he measured it, but I never get like maximum usage and so on. So you can just play with it, make multiple calls and learn and so on. And yeah, so I think everything is really nicely designed. 5 hours, yes, for 6 hours. I think you can do it easily in one day. I do it in 2 to spread it because I was checking some things in the lab and so on. So yeah, and I also like keep count on like courses. I do some Hugging Face courses are very good. I watched some videos about like AI and CrewAI and so on, how to implement it and then code with it. But I think this is very good beginner level to jump into it, because everything is super well explained. There is hierarchy and so on. It's super transferable. So yeah, so I would highly recommend it literally for everybody who do it. I do the full course myself and I'm pretty happy about it. Also, one thing, because some people could try, you can enroll for free on trial and so on, or you can just watch videos for free and then you don't have access to the notebooks. To get access, let's see, to get access to the notebooks, I would need to sign in. But I think there is like small price in the subscription. We can even quickly check it. I wish it's I can check it without logging. Yeah, I can't. But yeah, but it's I think like 25, 30 bucks per month. So also if you do trial, what I wanted to touch is that if you do trial, you will not get certificate, because you actually need to pay at least once to get certificate, which was not the case before. I think they updated it. So yeah, you will need to basically, you can do trial for course, but if you want to get certificate, you need to pay at least 1 month and so on. So I think during the trial you can make few certificates and then just pay once, cancel it if you don't like it. There are quite a lot, of course, but yeah, depends really on what you would need. You have also AI Python for beginners, which you can start and then jump on this one. Yeah, this is, for example, 10 hours. So I think it's really worth it, like 50 euro. Yeah, in some countries could be a bit more, but it's pretty good knowledge and so on. So yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.